y'all. It's your girl, Patrina Dixon. Thank you for being here for another episode of The Money Exchange. I'm so excited. I'm here with my friend Brent, and we're going to talk about a topic that I'm so interested in, and I know a lot of you are. But before we get into it, I want to remind you, I am the It's My Money Lady. You can find me across all social media platforms as It's My Money _. And if you haven't subscribed, make sure you do so. I got a lot of awesome conversations coming up. We want to make sure that you're notified as soon as they are available. And if you're interested in financial coaching or affiliate marketing, you know I'm your girl. So drop down to those links below and make sure that you check that stuff out as well. So without further ado, I got my dude here with me today. What's up, Brent?
It's my money lady, Patrina. How are you?
I'm well. What's going on, Mr. Landshark man? What's up?
I'm happy to be here. I think we've been talking for, I don't know, 6 or 8 months or so. And finally, we're here. So it's been a long time coming.
I love it. So I got to throw in a little joke here. So as we're getting ready to come on to talk to you all, I'm like, I love your mic, dude. I love your mic so much. I want one so bad. So I had to share that with everyone. So, okay. So before we get started, people are probably wondering, like we've just shared how long we've been trying to make this happen. Who is Brent? Like who is Brent before we get into what Brent is great at what he does? Who is he?
Yeah, so I'm a Christian, a husband, a father of 3. I'm an entrepreneur. I've been an entrepreneur my entire life. I've always liked selling stuff. I used to get in trouble because, like, after the Hurricane Andrew hit Florida, we had this old crank up radio that my grandma loaned to us, and my parents got a phone call saying, yeah, Brent's knocking on doors trying to sell the radio, because I figured it was no longer needed. I didn't think we were going to get another hurricane like that. So I've always wanted to sell and start businesses. And then I joined the military in 2009 for a change up, but I was still an entrepreneur while I was in the military. Then I wanted to get out of the military because having a family and being away all the time was tough. And I'd already had one divorce happen because I was never home, and I didn't want a second one. So I had a huge why. And, I found land investing, and it absolutely changed my life. It was the lowest barrier of entry in real estate. And it just, it was one of those things where there wasn't a lot of moving parts, and I could still do it with my full-time job. So I like talking about it. I think I'm a professional podcast guest now at this point.
I love that. You know what I love that you started your intro off more about who Brent really is versus what he does. So I love that. I love that so much about you. So, really, you said something that I want to just explore a little bit before we get into it. And that is, you could do it while you still had your 9 to 5. Do you still have a 9 to 5 today?
No, I haven't had a real job since May 2018.
Okay.
I think my children's teachers think I'm a bum, honestly, because I always go there in gym clothes, because I'm usually going to the gym afterwards, and my gym clothes are ratty. Like, I look terrible in the gym. But they think I'm a bum, I believe. And we just took this whole past 10 days off. I've been alligator hunting in Florida, which I live in Florida. And then we went to our lake house for the 4-day weekend. We made it a 4-day holiday weekend, but no, I haven't had a real job in a long time. And I couldn't imagine having to have one. I was a terrible employee. I really was.
And why that? Because you didn't want to follow rules, you didn't want to assignments. Like, why do you say you were a terrible employee?
You hit it on the head. I wanted to do things my own way. I always thought there was a better way, an easier way, a smarter way. And I didn't like being held to a place at a certain time, having to ask my boss, is it okay for me to leave now and go home and see my 3 children? It just felt like and I don't know, how do I say it? Like, I just felt like incarcerated sometimes in the military.
Yeah.
So, and then I started, I always had a business going. So, like, my real job, like, was paying the bills, but my passion was the business I started. So what got more time for me, like, where a lot of people are like, they're going out to have smoke breaks and coffee breaks, and they're surfing the internet. Heck no, I was taking phone calls from land sellers in the bathroom trying to, hide it.
Understand. So, and again, thank you for your service. And let's move into it. So, Landshark. So tell us. The name is just so perfect based on what I understand it's about. So how did you come up with the name, and then tell us what Landshark is?
Yeah. Yeah, so I actually can't take credit for that. I hired a guy named Darren Bentley to help me with my podcast. He also is the artist behind the Wholesaling Inc. podcast. I'm one of the hosts on the Wholesaling Inc. podcast. I have a show that comes out every Friday where I interview one of my students that have had massive success in land investing or real estate. But the land sharks came from Darren's wife. She's like, just call it the land sharks.
Oh,
So we ran with it. So I teach a lot of people how to become successful in land investing with a step-by-step action step program, a blueprint. Like there's no education. Like a
yeah.
lot of people getting stuck in education mode and YouTube University. There's a reason why librarians are not rich. They have all the knowledge, but I'm going to take you and show you how to take the steps, like how to take the action steps to get a result. And that result for most people, they just want to make some money in land investing so they can start their real estate journey. Like I have one guy, he did so well in land. He was a CEO of a hospital. He quit in 3 months. 3 months time, he stepped down as a CEO. I ended up hiring his assistant to come work with me. And you know, it's just other guys, they do really well in land and then they'll start buying commercial buildings. You know,
Yeah.
so it's almost like a, you know, I call it the gateway. Land is like the gateway drug of real estate. Like you can get in really easily with land and then do bigger, better other things.
So that I'm glad you went exactly where I wanted to go. So when people listening that may not be familiar with land investing, so explain the difference between land investing. I know the name probably should define that for most, but if people don't understand land investing versus real estate investing, because you said several times that land investing leads to or can lead to real estate investing. So just bridge that gap for those that are listening.
No, that's a really good question, Patrina, because a lot of people are like, land investing, you don't make money with land. Land is like one of those things you got to buy and sit on forever, and maybe it'll appreciate. It's one of those liabilities that cost you money every year with taxes. Like land does not cash flow, so it's not passive income. But those things, everything I just mentioned there was the reason why I had no clue about land investing. You know, luckily, and I promise I'll answer your question. Luckily, I heard a podcast in about 2015 timeframe, and I had already purchased a piece of land, and I didn't know how to make it cash flow. But I heard about a guy that was just flipping vacant land overnight, and he was doubling his money. And I was like, that if half of what he says is true, I can get out of the army. This is how I'm going to make money to pay my bills. So land, a lot of people don't invest in it because they don't see a way to make it cash flow. But how I do it is I buy land directly from landowners that's usually not on the market, that's not for sale because they inherited the land or they got it through someone in their family passed away and left it to them, or probate, or you know the husband died and the wife's like, I don't want this land, like, or 20 years ago they bought some land in Colorado and they were going to build that second house or that ski lodge house or whatever, and life happened for them and they just never got around to it. I'm buying it from what I call the don't wanters. So I send it's a very specific letter. I call it the LOL because every time we get one back, we laugh out loud because it's an amazing deal usually on a piece of land for less than 50 cents on the dollar. So I'm sending a letter to someone that owns a piece of land that's worth maybe 50,000, and I'm offering them like $23,000 for it. And if they sign it and accept it, my land offer letter, the LOL, I know I have a great deal. So I'm buying it for 25,000 or 23,000. I find someone that wants a good deal and I just sell my contract to them for 33,000. It's worth 50. So it's a no-brainer. I make a quick 10K. Or my favorite method, I buy it, or let me back up. I get it under contract and I get 90 days to market this contract to find a buyer. Find a buyer that's got $23,000 that they can put down, and they want to pay me $500 a month for the remaining 25 or 26,000 that's owed. So they buy it from me for exactly what it's worth, but they give me a down payment and a monthly payment. That's where the passive income comes from. It's like owning rentals. Like I've got 69 rentals, not really, but there's 69 parcels of land paying me payments every month. And here's what's incredible about these passive income payments. There's no tenants, there's no toilets, there's no sewer lines to repair. There's no repairs ever because land doesn't break. God made it. It's perfect.
Yeah. So okay. So let's delve into this a little bit. So as you mentioned, when people have various different properties and people are paying them every month. The person that's paying, put the down payment and pay monthly, they have something as well. They have a place to live and their kids to be, etc. What is the benefit of the person that buys it from you and pay you every month and they're not doing anything with it? Or do they end up doing something
Yeah.
with it?
A lot of people want to buy American land. They want to own a piece of American land. And it might not be an American buying it from them. We've had Canadians buy it. So we have a lake house in Lake Placid, Florida.
Oh,
And last time we were there, me and my wife were sitting on the front porch looking at the land across the street. And I was like, man, I hope no one ever builds on that. We should buy it so to make sure that never happens. And I look, the whole street is owned by one family that they are what Asian. I'm sorry, they are where were they? Bangkok. That's what the mailing address was. So I was like, holy cow, like these people aren't even in the United States and they own half the street. So, it's just anybody wants, like a lot of people want to own American land. Some people go and camp on it. Some people ride four-wheelers on it. Some people are like, one day we're going to build that cabin or build that second home or whatever. And sometimes builders and contractors and developers will buy it from us too. I have a closing today on 6 lots I purchased in Florida, and we paid $153,000 for the land about 2 months ago, and we're selling it today for $210,000.
wow.
For all 6 of them. And now I could have gotten a lot more money if I would have sold them individually, but the contractor builder offered on all of them. I said, well, I'd rather take quick cash today because they're selling for $55,000 each. I got them for about 30,000 each.
Wow. Nice. Now, do you find that a lot of the land that you purchase and sell, you and or your students, are in certain geographies or certain parts of the United States?
That's a great question. We've done a lot in Florida. It's all over actually. Washington,
Okay.
Utah. I own land in Pennsylvania and Connecticut and Arizona and Florida. So yeah, we're South Carolina, like the Southeast right now is blowing up. Even Canada. Matt Burton, hopefully doesn't mind me giving a little shout out there, just did his first land deal and he did $20,000 net profit and he's in California.
Okay. So now when you talked about wholesaling Inc. Now, does that tie into the Landshark as well? Or
Yeah,
is that
so
one and the same?
a couple years ago, so I was a wholesaling Inc. student. I was trying to learn how to wholesale houses back in like 2015, 2016. That was not working for me because I was spending a fortune in mail in Colorado Springs. Plus, I was working for the Army like 13 hours a day. So I didn't have time to go meet with sellers. So Wholesaling Inc., I did a few houses. The founder, Tom Kroll, that started it, reached out to me a couple of years ago and really encouraged me to start teaching people my land techniques. And then after I got a lot of students, a tremendous amount of success, and I mean serious success, like several of them are making $1 million a year. And I don't take that lightly. And for a while there, I took it pretty hard because I was like, man, I'm not doing $1 million net profit in my first year in land. What's wrong with me? So I was like beating myself up. And then I turned it around. I was like, I'm a freaking amazing coach to get people there that fast. And they're doing, because for a while there, I was like, felt like I was competing with my students. I was like, man, I need to get out there and do it even better than them so I can keep teaching them the best techniques. But after we got them so successful, and it was about 16 or 17 students, we created the Landsharks. And Wholesaling Inc. brought me in. Very long answer to your short question, but they brought me in as their basically they're my publishing agency. They have a very loud podcast. We get a lot of people listening to that podcast. So they brought me in to start speaking on the podcast, and it's been a beautiful partnership.
Okay, great. So, Landsharking, Landsharking. So folks that are interested in this, like, what do you think it needs to be? A certain type of person? Do you think a person that is great at real estate can also do this? What do you think the characteristics or need to be of a person that's interested? Because you mentioned people that are doing it really well. Is it something about your student base that contributes to the success?
Yeah, you need to be 6'1", 185 pounds, tall, blonde, a little bit of red beard. Oh, I'm sorry. That's my dating profile app. You're talking about no, we've had any and all kinds. Like Lance King, I just interviewed him a couple months ago. You know, he was a retired police officer. He's been in real estate investing since 2002. I was still in high school. I was in 10th grade in 2002. Then we have Alana Cohen in New Jersey, single mother of four. You know, that's done her 12th land or maybe 11th land deal now. My dad, he just turned 61 a couple weeks ago. He's done about 50 land deals. So I don't know. It's all types. You know, we've had several ladies join that they just had a baby or they're about to have a baby. So we've had ladies joining. It's amazing. Police officers, firefighters. I'm a prior military guy. I'm a veteran. So we bring in a lot of veterans, which I love. You know, I get to make fun of the Marines and the Air Force and stuff and the Navy. But it's all kinds. And I know that's there is usually an avatar. And I'll tell you, it's the person that wants to take action and change their life and get into real estate. And they're like not watching or they might be watching HGTV and they're not believing all the hype about how sexy houses are. You know, I think they're all dirty, stinky old cat pee houses. And, you know, I don't want to compete with everyone else. I want to do something against the herd mentality. Like I know a lot about herds. Like I grew up in a cattle town, Okeechobee, Florida, and herds get slaughtered. They get killed. Like I don't want to be slaughtered.
Yeah, and then now you said you didn't. Did I hear you correctly to say that you didn't do well with the wholesaling part of it, and that's why you went to land?
Yeah, I switched. I needed something easier. Ultimately, like we find our success through failure. And like that's another thing. It's like anybody listening to this, like don't be so afraid to fail. Like fail faster, fail as quick as possible. And sometimes you just need to quit. Like
Yeah.
and move on and do something else. But like I talked to so many people who are like, yeah, my wife, she doesn't believe this will work. I've tried so many things and none of them have worked out. I just got to make this one work.
Yeah.
And I applaud you. And same thing, I've talked to a lady the other day. She's like, I just want to, like, I'm so tired of my husband having to work so dang hard. I got to make this work. I've tried so many things and so many things have failed. It's like, well, you really have to do it. You
Yeah.
know, so it's like as an entrepreneur, as a business person, like most of our like success or like, most of our businesses are not going to work out. It's that last one that does. It's like when you're looking for the remote control, the last place you look is usually where it's at, right?
Yeah. And here's my other question is how when you come across land, like I don't know if you're on some sort of list and they get sent to your email to you, but how do you know like and I'm thinking about it from a real estate hat right now. And tell me how how it translates over to land only. So you get something, you find you go down the laundry list. Okay, is it this? Does it have this and these issues? You have the inspection, etc. How do you know when you are getting a good piece of land, right? That's not going
So
to be
easy.
in the future.
It's so easy, but great question, Patrina. I didn't know this in the beginning. And here's how I find the land. I go on Zillow and Redfin. I want to see where the land's selling. So you go to all filters, you do land only, sold in the last 3 months, and then look at the map. Well, you got to put your area in and then just exit your area out and zoom out and see where the hot pockets are, where there's land selling. We call those, hot areas. And then eventually you want to see like, okay, what's selling and what size parcels are selling.
Mm,
Now that you know that, you can see what they're selling for, what price they're selling for. Now, not all states, like Texas and Utah, there's another step you got to take because they're non-disclosure states. So you can see the last listed price, and then you got to get in touch with a land specialist real estate agent. How do you know who that is? You look and see who's listing it and it's bought by. Listed is the listing agent. The bought by is the buyer's agent. So these guys are going to be able to show you like, okay, land selling for 53,000 an acre or $75 a square foot in this area. But once you know all that, we go in and pull list of landowners in that exact area and make offers specifically to the amount that they're selling for. Say if they're selling for $100 a square foot, well, we just offered $66 a square foot. So there's margin, there's a delta, there's a difference. And that's how we're figuring out if it's a good deal or not. When they sign that thing and send it back, we're like, okay, now the research starts. Let's make sure this is actually a good deal. Let's call those land specialist realtors. Let's get their opinion on it. Let's go back and look. Okay, this is a half-acre parcel of land in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. They're all selling for about $50,000. This guy's willing to sell it for 22,000. I think that's a great deal.
Okay.
So you just want to have a huge margin of safety. Like this morning, I made an offer on a piece of land, and the guy was like, I offered $126,000. He's like, is there any way we could split the difference? I said, no, I offered you the maximum I can possibly pay. Well, there's other people interested. I said, you should probably call them then and let me know if they fall through, because I know where I need to be at that guarantees me to make money. Like, because why
Mhm.
are we in business? We're in business to make money.
Yeah.
You can have your charities and give to charities, but like I'm not running a charity.
I love it. I love it so much. And then, okay, and then just to follow up on that question, like, okay, so there's the economics of it, right? Like you find it, you get the square footage price, and then find out how you go in with the price where you feel you can make money. But like, okay, is this in a flood area? Is this like, how do you know? Is there an
Yeah.
inspection type role for that type of purchase, like it would be for a piece of real estate?
Absolutely. And yeah, people will give you even longer on land. And yeah, I'll buy land in a flood area as
Yeah.
long as other parcels of land are also selling in that flood area, because then I
Oh,
could
okay.
base them off of what it's worth. That's really the main thing. Like, I don't care where it's at, what kind of area. It could be waterfront, street front, no access, as long as other similar sized parcels, we call them comparables, in that area are selling.
Oh, okay. So then when you do that, it's not hard to resell because they're doing like you. Is it they're doing the same comparables? Is it selling or whatever? So it's okay, understood. Now with everything, there's all the great things that you have shared. What are the cons? If
Yeah.
you name a couple, what would those be?
Yeah,
To
some
this
cons. I
process?
will say, a lot of people think that you get some type of tax benefit for buying vacant raw land.
Mhm.
It's not like a house or a rental property or a commercial building that you buy for $927 million that you can depreciate. And that's usually people are in a different, I guess, or I shouldn't say class. Um, a little bit down the road, you're going to start needing to worry about that depreciation. So we take a
Yeah.
lot of our land profits and buy buildings with it so we can decrease the taxes we pay to the IRS. So
Okay.
I'd rather spend $100,000 on a building than have to send the IRS 100,000, because the IRS gives us benefits. Like, we're not cheating the system. They write it for us, because what happens to buildings? They rot, they
Yeah.
deteriorate. They're like apples. Once they touch the ground, something eats them, or
Mhm.
they just rot.
Mhm.
So the IRS knows that, so they give us breaks for that.
Yeah.
But land, it can never deteriorate. It can only improve. So taxes go up on it. You don't get a tax benefit like cost segregation or depreciation. And if anybody's just getting started in this in real estate, you're probably not even worried about cost segregation or depreciation. That's going to come later when you get that fat tax bill from the IRS.
So, all right. And is there any other con that people need to that? Because that's a really good one. Because I think when people purchase real estate, there is what do you want to call it? There is some advantages from a tax perspective
Yeah.
when you have real estate in the way that you just described. So I guess one would have thought that the same would hold true to land. So thank you for sharing that. Is there anything else that people need to be cognizant of when they consider something like this? Because I would say this is newer, like maybe not for all the listeners, but at least from my perspective, that this is a business that people are into.
Yeah.
I know that there are people who have purchased land, or like you said, have acquired land by way of someone passing away, and they're the beneficiary in that regard. But I didn't realize it was a business in the way that you are now sharing with us today. So is anything else that people need to be cognizant of if they're considering this?
Yeah. Is there water? Is there electric close by? How do you access the land? And I guess the easiest thing to do, I could just give people a worksheet.
Mm,
If anybody wants to get that, just go to the landsharks.com/DD, as in due diligence,
mm,
the landsharks.com/DD. And that's going to show you like a list of all the things we check to make sure of, because it's okay if there's, dirt road access or electric's not close by, things like that, as long as there's other parcels in the area selling and you're getting it at a massive discount. Key word being massive discount, because I see people are like, well, the land's worth 15, I'm getting it for 13,000. No. Do you like, yeah, you can sell it to someone for 15 and make a quick 2,000, but you're gonna have to work hard. Like, why would they buy your land when everything else is listed for 15,000? But if you go out there and list it for 8,000, they're all listed for, 16, 17,000. Now you're going to sell that thing. It's going to be like people are beating down your door for it.
Yeah.
Another thing I mentioned too, that land offer letter. We've been triple split testing this against all other marketing channels, and it is by far working the best out of all my land sharks and my business. I should just call my land sharks, but all the land sharks and my business.
I like that.
my land sharkers.
Yeah.
But if anybody wants a copy of that land offer letter, we made that available for this podcast. Get My Money podcast. Get My Money lady. What's
No, I mean, it's my money, lady.
It's My Money lady.
Yes.
So go to the landsharks.com/LOL as in land offer letter, or laugh out loud. The landsharks.com/LOL.
Yeah, and you please make sure I got to get that link from you so I could you can text it to me and I'll
Sure.
drop it in the show notes as well. So that great, just great information. I think my audience will certainly appreciate this. This is something that I've been very interested in. I couldn't wait to have you on the show because it's an area that I think as a lot of people are trying to figure out what to do next or what to do in addition to what they're already doing. I think this is another avenue that seems very attractive for a lot of people I know that are looking to do things. Do additional things or bring in money in a different way. So if you had to leave with sharing, those nuggets that from Mr. Landshark himself, what would you say to those that are listening that may want a different path or another way to earn passive income? You're on. What would you tell them?
Just go out there and take action right now. There's so many amazing podcasts. I mean, just what you're doing, Patrina, there's gold on every one of your episodes. Just have something in mind when you're listening to these podcasts, like have a little notebook beside you. I got one right here. Like take the action step down, and then do not go to bed tonight until you've completed that action step and or time blocked to complete it. Like yesterday, I saw a building I wanted to buy in an area that I was driving. So what did I do? I held the Siri button and I was like, hey, make an appointment for tomorrow, 8 a.m. Check out the warehouse building. And like, did it happen? No, I actually got sidetracked this morning, but at least it was in my schedule. It didn't happen. So I just moved it to later tonight before I go to bed. I want to check that out. I need to find the owner of it.
Yep. Love it. Love it. And that goes back to those of you that follow me. This. I always say execute, execute, execute. It's great that you listen. I'm glad that you keep it locked here and you always check out our episodes. But the whole point is to bring forth wonderful people like Brent that pour knowledge, give you gems that you can implement on some of these things that and don't think you can't do it because you aren't Patrina or Brent. You can do it, whatever Patrina and Brent had to start somewhere. So make sure you execute, learn from those that you can learn from. Brent, if they're interested in working with you or being one of your land sharks, where can they find you?
Yeah, I'm all over Instagram and TikTok, but I guess the easiest way is go to thelandsharks.com, fill out the application, schedule a call, and I personally will call you. Sometimes it's within a couple minutes, sometimes it's a couple days. So please forgive me, give me a little grace. We got a couple closings this week. So I'm still a full-time land investor as well, full-time father, husband. So we bring on a few students each month. And it's incredible. Like, it's just been amazing. This community, I get land deals from them as well. Sometimes I invest in their land deals, or I've even had land sharks invest in my land deals. So we're creating like this huge thing where we might buy half of America one day. I don't know.
You do. If you don't mind, one more question. I normally don't bring a question at the end, but you just made me think of something. Do you, and I think you said it already, I think maybe I'm just validating what you said. Do you all sometimes, you and the sharks, if you will, come together on a piece of land that you may want to acquire in a collab effort? Did you just
Absolutely.
say that? Oh, okay,
Yeah,
great.
absolutely. We've
to
got
know.
a area in Colorado Springs right now we can build 34 townhomes on. I
Oh,
didn't do that by myself.
yeah. Love it so much. Well, I appreciate you. Thank you for coming and giving us a little bit of Landshark's how to do that. And you all heard down below will be links to you can get a checklist, as well as if you're interested in working with Brent, how you can do that. So thank you so much. I appreciate you being here, and thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you for always keeping it locked. Make sure that you go down below and check him out. He's across all social media. And if you're interested in working, we're going to have that information for you as well. So you all make it a great day.